Welcome to the 1000 Comics Podcast. It's your host, Matt Heath. Boy, do I got an episode for you guys today. I got Beecher on the program. Beecher, he's a dude I've known since the Joker's wild days of comedy, when I started doing comedy back when I was 21. And he was one of the only guys that had been doing it for a decade at that time. And man, I just had a great time talking to him. Before we get into that, I want to tell you guys about, the hurricanes passing through here, and the couple outdoor shows I was going to do yesterday got washed out. So I went to the movie theater and I saw this movie with Adam Driver, and it was about being a comedian. It was a musical about being this dude who is a comedian who marries an opera singer, and they have a friggin' marionette puppet. Like, I knew I wanted to go to IFC theater to see a weird independent movie, and Annette delivered. It was a weird independent movie, and it was good. I mean, the first couple songs, kind of tough to get through, and he's not a very good comedian, but I think the ends justify the means, because the very existential ending it had. I don't think he wasn't a good comedian, but he wasn't a good person either. So, I think it all unravels. If you don't like musicals, push through the first two songs. The plot of the movie gets good. The ending reminds me of the play, The Stranger. I don't know if you ever read the play The Stranger, but it was good. Anyways, Beecher, I've known him since the days of Joker's Wild. I ran into him at the stand one night, and I said, "You got to be on my podcast, man." He's like, "Yeah, I got to be on your podcast." He came over. He actually went with me to T-Mobile to get a new phone, because I had lost my phone in Queens, and I was like, "You want to take a walk down the block with me to get a new phone at T-Mobile?" He's like, "Sure." He was amazed that I was able to finagle a new phone with just paying for service and not the phone itself. Yeah, this is a little advertisement for T-Mobile. Also, after I did this podcast with Beecher, he told me about this all arts open mic at this place called the Crane Theater. And honestly, this is one of my favorite mics that I've done here in New York, and I've been talking to other comics about it. Not a lot of comics seem to know about it. It's an all-arts open mic, and it's kind of where, like, St. Mark's Underground used to be, I guess. I'd never been to that mic, but I heard that one's really good. But I hear people comparing the Crane Theater to that, and it's just like, some of the best musicians, some of the best musicians in New York that are kind of like trying to break out. I saw some awesome acts there, and I can't wait to go back there the final Tuesday I'm here. I went there. Beecher told me about the place. He's like, "Go to the Crane Theater. It's really good." I went. I had a great time, and then I bumped into Beecher again at the Crane Theater a week later, and I'm like, "Dude, this place is awesome." He's like, "Yeah, I know." We ended up getting drunk at the library after that, and I gotta say, like, it's like, it's fun interviewing people that I barely know, because I get to know them, but it's also nice to get to know the dudes I've known for a long time, and I've known Beecher a long time. I've known him since I was 21. Yeah. If you ever run into Beecher, comics that are listening, if you ever run into Beecher, get him to tell you, because he did not tell these stories on the podcast. After we stopped recording, he told me an awesome story about working on the Jim Gaffigan show, and he told me an awesome story about meeting Prince. The Prince. So if you ever see him at a club, get him to tell those stories on stage, because I don't know if he necessarily wants to even make them into bits, but dude, those two stories, Jim Gaffigan show and Prince, get him to tell you about that, man. The 1000 Comics Podcast is looking for sponsors right now. Till then, I'll be pretty much sponsoring myself. You can, listen to my comedy album on this YouTube page. You can Buy my books on Amazon.com. Yeah. Renaissance Men, Pawnbrokers, and Scared Out of Dickens. If you want to look those up on Amazon, you could always buy one of my plays. Or if you want to sponsor the show yourself, send a few shekels my way. Just Venmo at Thank You Masked Man and tell me what you want me to say on the show. I'll do a little ad read for you specifically. Would you like that? Come on, wouldn't you like your name mentioned on the 1,000 Comics podcast? Here's a little Buddhist reading, since we don't have any sponsors. The Buddhists are sponsor right now because I've been doing these daily Buddhist readings. Okay, this is the one for the day. Ideas appear and disappear. To encourage proper ideas to develop, one must undertake practice. So ideas appear and disappear. To encourage proper ideas to develop, one must undertake practice. So if you want your ideas to become a reality, you have to put it to practice, I guess. Because everybody can. Honestly, I'd like to put some context to that, because a lot of people are like, how do you become a published author? How do you do a podcast? It's like, you just do it. You just have to practice it, right? Okay, I might be putting too much concrete in this philosophical idea, so I don't want to sink before this great interview I did with Beecher. Please enjoy. All right, welcome to the 1,000 Comics podcast, and I'm sitting here with my boy Beecher, man.
What's going on?
Dude, this is great. This is exactly the kind of stuff I wanted to be doing while I was here in New York.
Cheers.
Connecting with some comics I never met, but also connected with my boys that I haven't seen in a long time,
Yeah, it's been a while. You were in Florida. You were around.
Yeah.
I remember I was at comics at Mohegan Sun and you popped in. That was just a fun, out of the blue.
And that was a couple of years ago, too. And I feel like that experience, when you're around, it's always a different kind of experience, because that time, I remember that time at comics, we did something, like the group of us comics there did something that never really happens at comics. Usually, I feel like the comics go do their show at comics and then all kind of separate. We actually hung out as a group. We fucking Dave Sheehan and you.
I tend to, a lot of times my favorite are when there's weekends and then there'll be one show on Friday and then the late show will be independently produced, usually by Frank or Pat.
Yeah.
And that'll have a bringer aspect or be a showcase aspect. So there'll be a lot more comics. That's a good hang when they have all those comics around. But yeah, I tend to hang out there with whoever I'm working with.
Yeah.
It could be fun.
No, I feel
I don't gamble. You gamble?
I don't gamble anymore at all. See, I realize that I have drinking. I feel like drinking is my main vice. So it's if I feel like gambling is an endless fucking rabbit hole, dude.
Yeah.
While drinking, it's always the end goal is that you're drunk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I'm gonna get to where I need to be with alcohol.
Yeah.
With the gambling, I don't think there's nothing. There's no really satisfying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to do a little ritual where after a good set, I would take $20 and I'd put it on black on roulette as I was leaving. I'd either double it or lose it. And
you always put it on black. Was that
black.
like a James Bond kind of thing? What was that?
I think I heard that once. Always bet on black. So
yeah.
It's literally.
I feel like that's something I would say.
Yeah.
Always bet on black.
Always bet on black.
Yeah. I told you that. I actually told you that the last time we were at the casino.
Yeah,
I was you bet on roulette. You got to bet on black. You're all right.
But I was up. I think I was up $80. Not even that much over the long haul. And I was just you know what? I'm going to sit here. Actually, I had a few bad sets. That's what it was. I had a few bad sets, and I was I'm not gambling.
Yeah.
And it kind of broke the ritual.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because dude, if you do a show at the casino and you have a bad set and then you fucking lose money gambling, it's just you fucking lost twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it's like you fucking have a good set, you go and gamble, and you lose. It's kind of like fucking.
It's not that bad.
You know, I don't know. Like if I feel like it.
I want to hear a theory of mine. I had a theory. This is what I used to do when I was in middle school, and we would gamble for the NFL.
Right.
I'm a huge Giants fan, even though I don't really follow that closely. But they're my team. I would assess how bad I wanted the Giants to win.
Right.
How much would I pay? Would I pay $80? Would I pay $100?
Okay.
I would assess how much I want them to win, and I would bet against them.
Really?
For that amount, because if the Giants win, I'm happy, and if they lose, I make money.
Yeah.
So it was a win-win. That was what I used to do when I was in middle school. That was my formula. Because like, how much would I pay to have my team win?
Yeah.
They're my fucking team. Consolation prize is if they lose, I make some cash.
So you were like the Pete Rose of football, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, but I didn't play. I didn't play professionally. I did play football.
Yeah. Oh my God, man. But so speaking to like I feel like we just bump into each other at like random times. Like fucking didn't you like run a show? I don't know if you ran a show or multiple shows at the Connecticut Comedy Festival one year.
Yeah. So we, me and Joe Garrix, we partnered with New York Comedy Club.
Right.
And so it's like Emilio, and there's a team over there. And yeah, we started the comedy club. I think it's 5 years ago. It might be 5 or 6.
Yeah.
The pandemic throws like my time gauge off. But so we started the club at the Circle, and then we expanded. We started doing these pavilion shows. Then we started the festival, and this is the 3rd or 4th year. And so it's like the festival it's about to end next. I think next week is the end of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so are you doing any more shows on that, or
well,
what are you doing?
The last one for the festival is going to be Nico White at the Penfield Pavilion. I think that's the last one.
Okay.
But we have upcoming shows with the Fairfield Comedy Club.
Okay.
So it's like inside baseball, it's like producing is about getting attention. It's about getting asses in seats, and it's about having a good vibe. So it's almost like Joe helped start the. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's the New York City Free Comedy Festival.
Okay.
And all they did was they went around, they categorized all the shows, they listed all the shows, they talked to the producers, and they go, we're going to try to get some publicity, we're going to call it a festival, and we're going to put it out and advertise it as the free, because all the shows are free.
Right.
So they make it like a free festival, but these shows are going on year-round.
Yeah.
It's like they were happening whether they call it a festival or not, and then that got some attention, and they would get, stuff in the newspapers, stuff to get people like excited. Oh, there's a free comedy festival.
Yeah. I mean, I can't help but wonder what's the difference between a comedy festival and just a bunch of shows.
Well,
what I mean?
You're right. You're 100% right. Like, ultimately, like, JFL is a festival. You know what I mean? Like, they have multiple shows in multiple locations. You get the passes. You can go in and out. There's a whole big scene. It's all, like, localized. And some stuff that's a little bit further away, but it's still in the same area. With us, we were trying to do that vibe, but because of COVID and because of everything, we were kind of hampered. So last year we were able to do it because the lockdown had been lifted. We couldn't go inside, so we performed shows outside, and like we got big turnout. This year, because people could travel, we have had fewer shows because people were locked down for years. So it's like, we're gonna go to North Carolina, we're gonna go to Croatia, we're gonna go and travel. So this year, shows have been we've had half as many. But like in a true festival, all the shows are in the same area. It's probably like a week long, and you have a kind of a community, almost like a carnival, vibe to it.
So the one show that I came to watch where you hosted at Connecticut Comedy Festival, I came to watch because Think Floyd was on the show.
And by the way, you have a lot of comic listeners.
Yeah.
Fucking get your balls together and go to comedy shows. Fucking network, hang out.
Yeah.
Like I run the Connecticut Comedy Festival and the Fairfield Comedy Club. Come to the shows. Like if you're a comic, you're in.
Well,
you just hang out.
Honestly, that's the best way.
Don't be a dickhead and don't ruin the show. That's the worst.
I mean, that's the best way I get guests on my podcast is by going to other people's shows and watching the shows. Like I feel like some comics like have some fucking thing against that. Like they don't want to go to a show that they're not on.
Well, I'm trying to. That's why I'm saying this right now. I'm trying to dissuade the idea of the stigma where it's like if you're not familiar with the club, if I go, they're gonna make me buy a ticket because that's humbling to be like, I'm a comic, and then they won't let you in. They make you feel like shit. With the Fairfield Comedy Club, we're good. Like, if you're a comic, fucking come hang out. I'm sure you know somebody we know. We're friends if you don't know us directly. That's why, like, for the festival, there was a bunch of comics who I saw towards the end. I was like, where the fuck have you been? Like, we had Bill Burr here. We had Brian Regan. We had Mulaney did 4 shows.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
so, dude, your shit's getting big, man.
It was insane. It was, well, the thing is, it was because of limited supply. There weren't that many venues. There weren't that many places to perform. Like Bill Burr he sold out MSG.
Now, I heard Bill Burr talk about on his podcast being in Connecticut and doing and the woman heckling him and I heard him tell the whole story, but that was one of your shows.
Yeah, that was the first one he did. Comedy Craft Beers, Ryan Brouth he came with his dad Michael to watch the show.
Right.
And he recorded it. He has the video of the exchange.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not mad at him at all because I'm like, it's fucking hysterical. Like, I'm glad somebody has it. It was basically he was dropping the C word a lot, real loud.
Yeah.
And then this Karen woman came up with 2 dogs. Mind you, it's a sold out show. When Burr,
it's funny because you're telling it the exact same way he told it on his podcast.
But the funny thing is this: when Burr tells a story, he underplays it. He goes, "There were 60 people there.
Yeah.
There was over 150 people there. They were both sold out shows, and they sold out quick."
Mm-hmm.
So Burr underplays it like, "Oh, there's a lot of people there. You have to imagine it's this big. It's a field filled with people, and they're all socially distanced." And this woman comes up with 2 dogs. She's one black dog and one white dog. He makes like a riff on that, but later on. And she basically tries to walk on stage. She tried to walk, and like there was a bouncer. We had security.
Really?
And he like stopped her, and she started screaming like an adrenaline-filled, like a primal scream, like just because it's embarrassing. She's in front of, she's on stage. You know, there's all these people who are watching her have a confrontation.
So
with this comic.
Bill Burr did underplay it.
Oh my god, yeah, he totally did. It was, and he was actually he kept it funny. It was an amazing thing to watch because like he kept it funny, and like he was trying to be nice. And he said, I remember, specifically, he said, "I'm open-minded. You don't have to yell. I'm open-minded. I'll hear you out. There's no need to yell. You can calm down." And she just kept yelling. Yeah, that was great.
I had to, when I knew Bill Burr was in Connecticut, I had to listen to his podcast just to see what he thinks of like it. And I just love how he fucking romanticizes it and like fucking like thinks it's like this like great like Beaver Cleaver kind of place to live. Like,
well, people don't realize how diverse Connecticut is. Yeah, so it's a great microcosm because we have.
Well, also when you have a wife and kid, like you're kind of looking for a more like suburban. It's like I'm sure L.A. isn't like the best place to raise a kid.
Right. I mean, it was such a different vibe, different weather. But like what I like about Connecticut is you have like the Gold Coast, which is like Westport, New Canaan, these really rich. The Stepford housewives. What do you imagine that to be? These preppy, rich, douchebag. Some are super nice, but they're all really wealthy, kind of snotty, unhappy.
The way I feel like people in New York picture Connecticut is like watching the movie Mystic Pizza.
Okay.
But you know what I mean?
We have that too. We have Mystic Pizza. We have Bridgeport, which can have some rough areas, has some really soulful areas. New Haven. And then we have like a fucking... The Valley, which is like the South in Connecticut. We have Confederate flags. People don't realize that we have that. Like there's such... And then we also have like the wilderness type environments where you have, there's areas.
It's got a little of everything.
I know, that's what's so cool about it. You can go from like Bridgeport grimy to, super rich and also.
Isn't it amazing that we've known each other for like nearly a decade at this point?
It's pretty crazy.
And I feel like when I first met you though, you had been doing comedy like longer than most of the people I know because when I first started, you had already been doing it like 10 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So. I don't know, like fucking, I don't know. I think it's maybe because I'm Italian, as I really romanticize those fucking Joker's Wild days of comedy.
Did you see that Joker's Wild post that I put up on Twitter? It was a Joe Rogan. He was talking with Greg Fitzsimmons,
right?
And he was talking about like. Fitzsimmons asked him, he's like, do you ever get stiff? Do you ever have like a manager stiff you on pay? And he's like, oh, one time, New Haven, Joker's Wild. This guy, John. And he talked about
No way!
He took his shoe off and he started bashing a guy in the face with it and blood was going everywhere. Like, I remember John. John got pushed out because he wasn't...
That was a true story, though.
This is before Dom. So Dom took it over with Annunziata because Dom owned the building. And they were all... connected. You know, they're all in the gang, the biker gangs, and probably connected in other ways. I don't know. I'm not. This is another rat.
I never met any of the owners.
You remember Nunziata? She was
other
really...
than. I mean, I remember Andy the bartender, and
okay.
obviously like Pat running it towards the end. You know,
don't remember? It's hard. Well, I was there a lot.
Yeah,
Annunziata was a very attractive Italian woman. You know.
No, I don't remember her at all.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Towards the end, she wasn't there nearly as much, and then he got locked up. He wouldn't turn on somebody, so they locked him up, and he was in jail.
Really?
And then he got brain cancer. And they ended up...
This I did hear that the owner got brain cancer, and that's why he wasn't around.
Yeah, he got released, and then he passed. So, yeah. So
really?
And the building's still there. That's what's kind of like...
No, I went to Joker's Wild Recent because I recently just filmed my special, right? Yeah. I filmed a special at the Elbow Room. It's like a 40-minute thing I'm trying to put out there. The guys who filmed it, I was like, you know what? Let's take... I want for like the posters or whatever we use for images. I'd like to take in front of like the old Joker, like just me like I want the name of the special to be Matt Heath. There's no backstage area.
Yeah,
and it's just me eating a slice of pizza in front of a brick wall.
That's funny, yeah.
So that's basically what we did. We went and took a picture on the side of the building. But they expanded Sally's Pizza, and they bought the Joker's Wild building.
Did they really?
They did.
Oh, my God. The last, and I should say it was before COVID, last time I went by there, I got out of the car to look. The awning was exactly the same.
Yeah.
They had that inner bar that they ripped out, and it was still in the dumpster next to the side of the building.
I can imagine.
It was still there. I was like, it's like, and that had been at least 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I talked to Richie, the guy that owns Sally's, and he told me, he's like, we bought the building, we're gonna use it, and I was like, you're not, I was like, you're not gonna make it into a comedy club. He literally laughed in my face. Was like, fucking right, right.
I can imagine. That's great. That's really great.
Yeah, it's those were good times back then. I don't know. You know what? I since I was having you on the podcast for some reason, I keep a few of your jokes stand out in my mind. Do you still do this one where you go where you're like picture a field of squirrels and butterflies, and you're like now picture that same field. And those squirrels and butterflies are just moths and rats. It's all about perception. I fucking love that joke.
I haven't done that in forever. That was almost like a tweet that I put out that I was working on. It's funny how you like churn through material, and sometimes other people remember your material better than you do. Because my partner at the club in Fairfield, Joe Garrix, he just recorded his special at New York Comedy Club, and he was like, "Dude, I need you." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "You know my jokes better than me," and I have like a roll. I just know for some reason I hear his voice and it resonates with me, so I know his jokes. And so literally, I'll just text him. When was the last time you did this joke about your parents? He's like, I forgot I even had it. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
That's actually why they're a couple. My good friends. The guys that filmed my special are guys like that, know my material better than I do. And it's like, it's great to have people like that around because...
sad thing for me is nobody knows my material better than me, and I don't even know my material. So,
but you haven't done that joke in a long time, huh?
If you were to ask me about that, I would say that's a tweet. I don't even remember. I must have tried it out.
Yeah, really? But I remember you doing it at Joker's Wild one night.
You gotta try.
Something that you said one time when I first started doing comedy and you were there on stage. I remember you said, I think it was like right after you did like a birthday show or something, and you're on stage at the open mic and you're like, yeah, guys. So no matter what show you go on to do, like you could go on to do great shows. It's like this right here, the open mic. This is what it's all about. And I was like, I don't know. You said it so earnestly that I was like, and that fucking stuck with me too. Yeah.
There's an element of just public speaking in comedy that I think people overlook because, and Chappelle said this. I'm not like breaking ground, but it's like, you don't always have to be funny. You just have to be entertaining. Yeah. And so, like if you can say things that are meaningful that people want to hear, then if you can make them laugh on top of that, that's obviously ideal. Yeah, I fucking I was just thinking about some of the old jokes I used to do. I'm like, holy shit! Like, there's a whole Rolodex of stuff I would never even want to put my name to.
I don't know. It's like I like when you do it like because sometimes I don't expect it from you. Just I feel like just from the way you look that you'll do a joke that's like a tad misogynistic, and I feel like it takes me off guard a little bit.
You know what? There's an element of humor which is surprise, and I feel like, and this is, I think most comics should pay attention to this because I feel like I'm not misogynistic at all.
Right.
If anything, I love. I don't even. I'm so like beyond it. I'm beyond gender. I don't even believe in women or men. We're all just people. That kind of thing. Like, and people, I lose people right there. But like honestly, I'm so not a misogynist, and I'm so a feminist that I think people could just see that in me.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily see
So
that.
yeah, so it's like a misdirection.
Right.
Like it's like making a misogynistic comment would be such a misdirection.
Right. But then
that's where the humor is.
But if people don't see that in you,
Yeah.
then they're not going to see it as a joke.
Yeah.
And then you get taken seriously, and that can be a problem.
That's tough too. Yeah. Fucking A, man. I barely know anything about you though. Where are you originally from?
I grew up in Connecticut. I grew up in Trumbull.
Trumbull. Okay.
The only the
is Trumbull's like near Bridgeport, right?
It's right. Yeah, it touches Bridgeport.
Isn't that show Sneaky Pete take place in Trumbull? Have you seen that yet?
Sneaky Pete's in Bridgeport, and I think there's some spots in Trumbull.
I think the house that they live in is in Trumbull.
Probably. Yeah. The other comic of note from Trumbull is Lisa Lampanelli.
She's from Trumbull.
She's from Trumbull.
And I remember she came into Joker's Wild one night.
She's been at the Forever Comedy Club a few times.
Yeah. Though, when I the first and only time I ever saw her, it was like, it was right when she lost all that weight. And I didn't even recognize her. So when I was sitting at the bar at Joker's, Andy was like, hey, you see that down there? I look at her, and...
Shouldn't you just plug this in?
What?
Where's the plug into the wall? No, the battery for your computer.
No, it's fine. I'm at 82%.
Okay,
bro.
I just saw the light went out. The computer
no,
was the screensaver mode.
It was just the screensaver.
It was the screensaver mode. The light went out.
You don't have to worry about that.
Went, why don't you just plug it into the wall? There's an outlet right there.
Anyways, Andy's like, you see that down? You see her down there? I was like, yeah. Like, who's that? He's like, that's Lisa Lampanelli. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even and then she gets on stage and starts doing her material.
I remember I missed it because I was going to go down that night.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, it is Lisa Lampanelli. I was like, I almost didn't believe it at first,
What was your take on the experience?
It was really cool because like she's one of those comics who's like she's known for having a mean persona on stage, but she was super nice in real life.
My memory is that Pat Oates was like, she went on for too long and people weren't there. It was a mic. So people weren't there for her and they were excited, but then the anxiety of the people who were waiting to go on just kind of bubbled through. And people were at the end, I think she did like 20 minutes. At the end, people were like, get the fuck off the stage. Like, I want to, like, I'm next. Like, they wanted to get her off.
I don't recall it being like that. I recall comics, like some of the newer comics, being too afraid to get on stage after her.
Yeah.
That
happens.
Yeah.
She's great. She's buddies with Frank Liotti, and we've had him quite a bit, and he's a super funny guy. And it's so funny. I've known this guy for years. I didn't realize he graduated from Yale for theater.
Right.
Which is a big program. And so I'm like, oh my God, you're like a fucking trained actor and you're doing stand-up, and he's super funny, but like they're tight, and so whenever he's in town or headlining, like she always comes through.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. So you're from Trumbull. What? You have any siblings?
I do. I'm the youngest of 5. My dad was married previously, so it's like 2 boys, a girl, divorced, girl, boy, and I'm the last one.
Okay, so you have 1 full sister and then 3 half siblings. I have 1 half sister, 2 full siblings, 2 full brothers.
Age-wise?
I'm in the middle of the 2 brothers, or 2. I have 1 older brother, 1 younger brother.
Yeah.
So you're the youngest, huh?
Yeah, I'm the baby.
How does that? How does? So I'm kind of curious to see how like your family dynamic works. Do they all see you as the baby, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And I've always thought it's funny because I imagined you were a youngest child.
No.
But most entertainers are youngest children because they have a performance aspect just built into their existence. Where when you're the youngest kid, you're the baby, everyone's looking at you, looking after you, and then once you kind of gain a certain self-awareness, you can then entertain, and they look to you to break tension. They look to you to be the cute one and to do the things to kind of just keep the family going.
Well, so, I mean, with that, as many older siblings as you have, you almost had like a built-in bringer at the beginning.
But no, actually,
or did they like come?
So many. My family's got so many weird aspects, so it looks normal.
Right.
But then, as you inspect it, becomes weirder and weirder and weirder. So my mom's Hispanic, my mom's Puerto Rican, and my dad's black.
Right.
There's an 18-year age gap between them.
Really?
So my dad's super old, and he's Southern. So I have an old, black, Southern father. And, like, people can't even conceive of that. Like, I say that, and you don't even
He must be a pretty cool fucking dude to get, like, a woman that's, like, 20 years younger than him.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. He's amazing.
You never thought about it that way?
No. He's amazing. He's super smart. Actually, believe it or not, I'm a good-looking guy. But my dad...
you may not know it because you're just a listener
on this podcast. I'm a good-looking guy. I'm not going to lie. No, but my father's, I think, much more handsome than I am. Like, he was such a handsome guy. Like, movie star looks. He was a dentist.
Right.
He was her dentist, which was weird. And I say this, and I know it sounds, I do it misleadingly. When they met, my mother was 13, my father was 31. And he was her dentist.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
so that's a little taboo.
But they didn't get there was nothing there at all. When she was, I think, in her mid-20s, she started to work for him. And then in the office, they got along well. And he had gotten divorced, and like he dated a lot of other women and stuff. Yeah. And then
I always feel like dentists always wish they could have been comedians.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah,
I do. Bill Burr's dad is a dentist. There's a guy, Jeff Gurian. He is a dentist. He's on the scene. He kind of looks like Phil Spector. I don't know if you've seen him.
Because I feel like dentists are always telling jokes.
They do.
Yeah,
they do. That's one of my theories. Because they have a captive audience. Laughing gas aside. But they have a captive audience. They run bits,
right?
Pun intended. And they're just there's
look at Happy Days. Ralphie, the comedian, his father was a dentist.
Was he?
Yeah. Okay. You remember that show?
Yeah. The other one is like Steve Martin in Little Shop of Horrors.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And he was also a dentist in that other movie. I've never seen it. I think it was called Novocaine.
Novocaine. Okay. Yeah. There's a weird connection there. But no, quick backstory. I'm the fourth Beecher. So growing up, I was little Beecher. My dad was big Beecher. Mm-hmm. His dad was Beecher, and his dad was Beecher.
Okay.
So my dad was a dentist. So Beecher the third.
That's odd, though. Usually firstborn sons are the ones that are the junior.
Yeah. Well, what happened was my oldest brother, and I think we've talked about him before, but he's an actor.
Okay.
And his name is Kirk Beecher.
Okay.
Kirk Beecher Taylor. And it's because his mother didn't want the full name to be passed on. I don't know why she didn't want it, but she didn't want it.
Right.
And so when I was, So what ends up happening is my dad was a dentist, his dad was a dentist, and then his dad before him was a Reverend R. Beecher Taylor. And we found this is like my old Facebook profile picture, was my sister found this flyer in our attic, and it's like all kind of folded up, and it's of my great-grandfather, and it's from 1908, and it has this picture, and it says, the Reverend R. Beecher Taylor, you will come see his lecture. R. Beecher Taylor, his lecture is filled with humor and advice. You can laugh and grow fat. And that's what it says about my great-grandfather, in essence, was a minister, but he was a stand-up comic. He did comedy at churches.
Okay.
So to me, and that was so I'd already been doing comedy. It was so validating to find out that, my great-grandfather, my namesake, did stand-up.
So it's like in the patriarchy there, you got a comedy preacher.
Yeah. Dentist.
You got a dentist who in a sense we mentioned that are comics, and now you're just a plain
two dentists
comedian. Okay, two dentists, and then you're just like plain old comedian.
Yeah,
you're the one that's following the.
I don't have a flock of sheep or whatever. What do they call them? Your
followers?
Yeah, they call them a flock.
Yeah,
isn't that your church?
I suppose so.
And by the way, I just took that as a personal sting into my heart when he's like, "You don't have any followers?" I'm like, I really don't have that many followers. So follow me.
I mean, you're the one that was saying it, not me.
So follow me, Beecher Comedy. I'm super funny. This is bullshit, all right? If you're still listening, you're a fucking asshole. How about that? Piece of shit. Sorry.
Oh, all right. So I don't know when do you decide that you want to be a comedian?
I was in college and I was just like, I'm gonna fucking do this. I started going to open mics and watching.
All right.
And then I was like, all right, literally, it's the thing where you see people doing very poorly, go, well, I can do better than that.
Right.
And so I actually signed up at the time. It's so funny. I started in D.C. Where did you start?
In Connecticut. Yeah. Joker's Wild was my first time on
Holy
stage.
Shit, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Did you record your first time?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Sadly, it's on YouTube, but I can't get it off.
I have a couple of videos on YouTube that I'd also like to remove. But you didn't post it, or it's your account you lost the password?
It's that, yeah. It was my account. I lost my password.
There's 2 videos that are fucking old, and it's like one's at an Irish bar in the Upper East Side. It was like a show that got booked on, and I had some people there, but it was like, I'm doing all these rape jokes about the Irish. It's like not that it's not what I do, but I'm like, I just don't want that to be in the first video you see when it's literally from like 10 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, fucking comedy's a journey, baby. No, I started in DC, and then I started going to the mics, and I had this run-in with a fucking comic where. What
was the DC scene like at that time?
What was crazy was I started going to the mics, and at the exact same time, exact same place, Rory Scovel was starting to do comedy right there. So you know Rory Scovel?
No, I don't.
But
go on.
Rory's fucking. If you don't know him, I'm actually shocked. He's an amazing comic. He's done a lot of movies. He's had a bunch of great specials. Like, he's super well known and respected.
I'll look him up.
Yeah, he's fucking he doesn't know who Rory is. Jesus. Well, Rory started there, same time, same place. Seton Smith, Aparna Nansharla, and Ryan Connor, and there was a great scene, a lot of people who were doing comedy down there, and so I did a contest for DC's funniest college student, and I ate shit. I did so poorly because they didn't, nothing prepares you for a blinding spotlight, and so the show, the contest. Oh, okay. Sometimes there's ambient lighting in the crowd, so you can see the crowd. Yeah. There was none. It was pitch black, and then it was like a whiteout.
You can't even see the front row.
Nothing. I could barely see my feet. It was just so blinding. Yeah. And I remember
I had a few experiences at the old comics that was like the Foxwoods.
Yeah, you're not ready for it because most open mics don't have that kind of professional lighting. Yeah. And
you know what's crazy? You were at the first time I ever did a competition.
At comics?
No. This was at Treehouse Comedy Festival, and it was the week. No, it was the same week Robin Williams died, and I ate shit on stage, and then I went and got a drink at the bar, and you were like, "You're kind of affected by Robin Williams' death, aren't you?" And I was like, I felt like you could read that on my face, and like I was like, "Yeah, I am." Like,
yeah, a lot of us were. I mean, it was a big thing. Well, you know what's fun? Like, death is a weird thing. We don't have to go so fucking deep, but like, death is a big thing, and like, also when you have somebody who's so iconic and that you grew up with, it's just, and like, he kind of seemed like a very fatherly figure to a lot of people, and he was just so wholesome. And I know there's the whole joke. If you don't know, Robin Williams had like joke thievery, where he would, he kind of on like cocaine level high, he would like go to mics, he would hear people's premises. And then on stage, he would just let them out. And sometimes he would improve them, not to lie. Like, he would make a premise that someone else thought of better, but he did take someone else's premise. He wouldn't have come up with that on his own. So he was known for cutting checks. People would approach him, and he would just, here's $10,000. I'm sorry.
You know something about, and I just want to hit on something on Robin Williams' death. Is I have a theory about his death. And because a lot of people will say to me, like, oh, he wasn't himself. When he killed himself, he was like a different person, like the depression had just taken over. But I think there's a reason that happened. And I don't think a lot of people know that Robin Williams and Jonathan Winters were best friends. And if you look at the dates, they both died. Jonathan Winters died April 17th.
They're close.
And then it's like a year later, To the day is when Robin Williams killed himself.
Yeah. See, that's why I don't pay attention to the date. I'll kill myself if I do. No.
What day is it today?
It's Tuesday? Fucking no more. This is my last Monday.
Anyway, so I want to digress from that. We were talking about the competition you were in DC.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went up and I basically I ate shit. And people were laughing during my setups. And then when I gave my punchline, dead silence. And then I couldn't even see them. So, like, when the spotlight is that bright and there's that much differential between the audience, like, you know they can see every expression on your face. Like, they saw panic. They saw fear. I remember somebody recorded it. There was a video record. There's a VHS. That's how old I am. There's a VHS recording of this. It was 2000 and.
That is dating yourself. There's a VHS copy of one of your.
It was 2005.
Stand-up acts.
2005. And somebody recorded it. I know for a fact. There was one guy. It was so funny. Actually, I thought it was great. I think there was a guy named Larry Poon who did this like character that was just beautiful because the contest was rough. A lot of like scared, nervous energy, and that can really affect an audience. If you see somebody,
you know something. When I do competitions now, I take it as an opportunity to do character work. Like I'll get up on stage and do. Like the last time I did a competition, I did this whole coach character. It fucking killed. I didn't win the competition, but then it's like you could look back at it and be like, oh, it's not me that didn't win. It's the character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm back in.
Oh, where did we put him?
Over here. I'm getting another beer.
I should have refrigerated him. What am I thinking?
I outpaced Matt in the first one. You don't have to chug it, dude.
God damn it. No. Now I
It's not a contest.
But, like you just said, it's not a contest. I don't think... I don't really like contests because I think comedy is art and art shouldn't be judged like that.
You're 100% right and you're 100% wrong. And because I feel like if we're going to get philosophical, with life, you have to embrace that kind of duality and paradox.
Right.
Because the truth is a lie and a lie is the truth. Like, it really doesn't make sense ultimately. Like, if you really examine things. So, yeah, comedy is an art. I love it when it just makes you laugh. And there's one of the guys that I love to watch right now, Sean Patton.
Okay.
He's fucking... I don't want to be like a fanboy, but like I'm such a fanboy. Anytime I see him, I get like, holy shit, he's here. Like, he's so funny. Yeah. He's next level. And it's not... He does it for... I don't want to like read into his motivations, but whatever it is, his comedy is coming from a place of just genius, and like he's in the moment, he's riffing, he's confident, he's doing intellectual stuff, and I've seen him like because you've watched that being a comic, you've watched so many performances, you learn how to read these really nuanced experiences where an untrained audience member would just be like, oh, that was fun, I laughed, but like you're like breaking it down, you're really examining. He'll come in with something, and not everything works, and you see the way that he almost like jujitsu like takes the energy and redirects it and brings it back to full power. And like right now he's the guy that I want to watch the most.
Nah, redirecting energy. Now that's like a difficult thing to master in comedy, right? Yeah, I feel like it's like so because sometimes you could walk into a show and you feel like the energy's off in this room. I know I'm not going to do. Yep. Whereas it's like if you have the power to change the energy of a room, that's like I feel like that's what makes like a really good comic, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a few guys that were memorable in that way. I saw one time I was closing out a show at Karma, which I don't even know if they're still doing shows there on First Ave.
Right.
And I'm closing out the show, and there was this woman who's heckling, and she was being so annoying, and we're going back and forth. And I got the light, but I know that I'm closing out the show, so I go a little bit longer. I'm trying to get her to shut up. I'm trying to make it funny, and like in my head, I was like, "This room is dead. Like, there's nothing I can do. This room is just fucking dead. I'm just gonna end on not a laugh and leave."
Right.
So I was just like, whatever, and I left. And then the host ran back up. I thought to close the show to say good night, and he goes, "We had a special drop-in, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Mackey." And this is before he did Last Comic Standing. This is before he like broke through. Joe Mackey went up there. and he murdered.
Yeah.
He went in with his, hey guys, how you guys having a pretty bad time over here, huh? And like he literally roped everyone in,
Yeah.
and just fucking murdered. And it changed my mind about what comedy could be. I was like, I didn't realize that was possible. Expand, like it was just like real, like forever in my mind. It was like that moment opened up my my expectations.
It almost like changes your brain chemistry in a way where it's like you're like it's dead in here. Like there's nothing I could do. It's like you feel like at some point you could be bombing. You feel like I'm digging a fucking grave, and it's like there's no one that could fucking get this fucking going again. And he did. So it's like. You know, I don't know. I've had plenty of experiences like that myself. You know, like
that's fucking great. You know, I love doing comedy. Is the best thing I've ever done. I absolutely love it. It's art. It's business. It's.
Who is your favorite comedian as a kid growing up?
Bill Cosby.
Really?
Just because he was the most accessible. My dad had 2 radio stations in his car. One was the news, and the other one was like this church station. So we're like, fuck. But then on Sundays, when we were going on like little road trips, he would have cassette tapes, and he would let my sister. What do you want to listen to? So sometimes it'd be like Annie, we had like Little Orphan Annie, the song, all that shit.
Yeah.
So a bunch of like those, and then he would have comedy. He had Bill Cosby.
You know what's interesting? Who I just had Hope on yesterday, and she grew up kind of religious, and her parents was like one of the only things she was allowed to listen to was Cosby, and I feel like it's kind of like a similar experience with you. Yeah. And there's such a fucking hypocrisy in that. You know what I mean? The other
comic that he allowed us to listen to, you wouldn't even guess is a stand-up comic, but it was Billy Crystal.
Oh, I mean, I can imagine.
You look marvelous. And he had I'm glad to be back in New York. Move your fucking truck. Like, there's all these like jokes, and I remember being a little kid, like, holy shit. And like he does say move your fucking truck in that special, and I remember like my dad let us hear that.
Yeah.
I didn't, and a couple years later I found his Richard Pryor tapes, which he didn't keep in his car because he didn't want us finding.
He didn't let you listen to the Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it was the 2 albums were the Bill Cosby and then Billy Crystal, but then I found Richard Pryor. And I found actually he had some really horrible shit. It was. This is racist, like black, like Al Jolson. My dad had a bunch of Al Jolson shit. Like Amos and Andy, my dad. Yeah. So people won't get these references because my dad's like old.
But your dad was really into entertainment, though.
Yeah. But my dad's old black. My dad was born the same year as Martin Luther King and Anne Frank, 1929.
Wow,
that's old.
That is old.
The Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. When they started building it, my dad was 4.
Right.
Like, it's just crazy to me that the Golden Gate Bridge is iconic. The Golden Gate Bridge. It's been there forever.
Right.
No, my dad was a little baby when they started building it.
Right.
It's just nuts to me.
That is nuts to think about.
Yeah.
That your dad was born in the roaring 20s, and now we are in the 20s.
Well, that's what's so bananas is that it's 1920. I'm sorry, it's 2021. If my dad can make it to 2029, that's 100 years.
Yeah, and your dad's still kicking, huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's
good for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. One of my new jokes is that, and it's true. So my dad works in the yard. He fired the landscapers. Like they mow the grass, but he does the edging and he does like the mulch, and he's like working in the yard. He's a hatchet, and I'm like, it looks like we have a slave. We got this old black guy in the yard just hacking away for fucking hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he finds like peace in doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, he enjoys doing it.
My dad got really into like bird watching actually when he fucking retired. I don't know, it's just like dads, man. My dad's pretty old himself. He's 71 actually. Yeah.
So yeah. How old was your dad when he had you?
He was I'm 20. I'm about to be 30, so he was about 40.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. My dad was 50. Yeah. There's not that much difference there.
Yeah.
But another dynamic is just being a black guy from the South.
Do you think we're comics because we were created with old sperm?
That's a great joke. What was that kid's name? He moved out to Chicago. John. I'm blanking on. His dad was super old. Used to come to all the shows. Don't you remember?
Oh, yes.
John Giuffre.
John Giuffre, yes,
Yeah.
his dad, yeah.
And his dad was super fucking
I wonder if
old.
his dad's still around, man.
I think he is.
His dad was a cool guy,
yeah,
man.
for sure, for sure.
To bring his teenage son to Joker's Wild, though, to fucking do that, and it was like every week they were there.
You could tell there was an element of living vicariously through your son.
Yeah,
and just seeing your son happy.
And he looked like he should have been the kid's grandfather too.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad looks young. That's the thing about him. Is that he doesn't look old.
Well, black don't crack. Either.
Black don't crack, but it works, baby. He definitely. My dad doesn't look old. John's dad did look old.
Yeah. Dude, I remember I think it was the last time I saw him.
He was such a great guy. I hope he's still alive.
When Chappelle got booed off the stage, Giuffre and his dad were both at that show.
That's crazy. I was there the next year when he made a surprise
when Louis brought him out. I was at that show too.
But I don't think Louis brought him out. Or maybe he did bring him out.
Yeah, Louis was like, I got a special guest for all you, and fucking
because that was Brody Stevenson hosted that. I remember because Fenoya and Madison Malloy were on the small stage,
right?
And I did an audition. So I drove from New Haven. I was living in New Haven. I drove from New Haven, to fucking the Bronx at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I got in line at 5:30 for this audition. I auditioned for some fucking movie part.
Right.
And then I hopped in the car after hours, drove back to New Haven, picked up my ex, drove to Hartford, and as we're pulling in, you know how the old Meadows, Xfinity, whatever the fuck it's called now, I could see the B stage. And I could see Madison on the stage.
But you were at both of them, right? With Chappelle getting booed
No,
off.
I wasn't there for that one. I wasn't there for that one. I had the T-shirt.
The one where Louis brings him back out, though. I remember there's a picture. There's a picture of me, you, and Dame FK, and
the Howling Wolf.
And I am wasted in the photo. Yes. I'm surprised I have such a good memory of that night.
Yeah, that was great. That's a great picture. I mean, we were. So, shout out to anyone who's ever taken a good picture, because you really capture a fucking moment.
Yeah.
It's like energy, everyone's looking good, and it just solidifies. You know, that was it.
And that picture's on like a corkboard I have at home. Actually, I love that picture.
I remember the wolf shirt.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I remember. So what happened was, I remember Brody did the B stage. We parked the car. Madison got off stage. We missed her, but we saw her from the street. We went inside. I saw Fenoya, and I got to meet Brody. And so then, for some reason, I don't know why they did this, but Brody was booked to host the main stage for the tour. But for some reason, every night they asked him to host the main stage. They didn't have a regular host for the main stage, and every night they would ask him. And somebody made a joke about this years later, but they were like, he would get amped up, like, I'm going to the big leagues, like I'm getting called up, and he would get excited every fucking night.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he hosted the main show.
Right.
And then I remember, I thought Brody brought him up, but maybe I'm wrong. But because usually,
I don't know. I remember so vividly Louis C.K. bringing him out. He's like, well, the show's. I remember him being like, the show's not over. He's like,
No. You do have it wrong here, because Chappelle came out before Louis, because I missed Louis. I was so tired. Like, we went, and then I think my recollection is that Brody says, before your headliner, we have a special guest drop in, Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle comes out, it goes fucking crazy. We watch the whole thing, and then Dave Chappelle says goodnight, and I said to my ex, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. I was up for since 4 in the morning. So I was like, we gotta go. So we left. We walked out, and I hadn't seen Louis up to that point.
Yeah.
I'd never seen him before.
Never seen him live.
Never
Have you seen him live since then?
Yeah, I met him a few. Actually, I've been running into him at the fucking Comedy Cellar all the time.
Yeah.
I heard, and this is what I was told. I didn't see it myself, but that people are protesting because he's performing.
Yeah.
That his his stage name, instead of Louis C.K., it says Rusty Johnson.
Yeah, that's actually pretty funny.
He fucking he kind of big timed me. I was walking past, and I'd seen him a few times, but I was walking past the cellar, and he was talking with Ryan Hamilton, and I'm friendly with him. I wouldn't say we're like buddies, but like I said they're talking, or they're sitting down talking. So I just give Ryan it's a really narrow sidewalk, so it's not like I'm like making an extra step to. So So I kind of stop and just give him like a fist bump. He's like, "Oh, hey, what's going on, man? Hey." And I look at Louis, and he kind of gave me a side eye, and then just decided to keep talking and not say hi to me.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever. Go around the corner to the Fat Black Pussycat, hanging out over there, and there's a bunch of people outside. And then 5 minutes later, Louis comes around the corner and he does the big hello to everybody. Oh, hey, hey. And he's like, and then when he sees me, he does like this, well, oh, hey, man, how are you? And I'm like, you fucking phony. I was like, you just saw me a second ago and you wouldn't even say hi. And now you're like my best friend.
Yeah.
But anyway, I bumped into him in the hallway there, going up and down from the Village Underground.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's on tour. He's doing MSG.
Really?
Yeah, coming up. They just announced, not the full arena, but he's doing a theater there.
All right. Well, we're not here to talk about Louis. We're talking about you. I feel like you have so many past accomplishments that I want to fucking uncover.
I was
here,
winner
man.
of Star on the Web. Star on the Web. They gave me a trophy. I was like, what the fuck am I? And I had a comedy. Do I still have it? Yeah, I still have it. It's a comedy trophy.
Really?
Yeah, it's so funny. It's just it was a Connecticut contest that somebody put together. And, like, I'm not disparaging anyone for trying to put together a contest and try to make something happen, but their idea was great, and we did it. And I remember, because I won the comedy portion, and then they were going to have the overall.
Right.
And they're like, and the winner's going to get repped by, and they had some guy in, like, a leather jacket, like, this is going to be your new manager. And I was like, oh, I'm not winning this thing. I don't want that guy. I don't want this person managing me at all. So I literally, like, I kind of tanked for the, because it was me versus a singer and then a dancer at the end.
Right.
They took the winners of the 3 different categories and, like, had us, I'm like, this is fucking horrible. I was like, yeah, I lost. That's fine. I'm so fine with that.
Competitions are just so, like, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Like, I love that.
Have you won a competition, Matt?
I've never won a competition in my life. I think that's why.
Don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Here's what you do. You start a competition. We get a whole lot of people involved, and then you just win it.
Why is it? I feel like how do guys get these gigs as the judges of competitions? Because I feel like the judges of competitions have never won competitions either.
Themselves, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's all rigged. It's all showmanship, and it's deception, smoke and mirrors. Perception is reality. Yeah, like I've done roast battles.
Yeah.
I'm 1-1-1, which I think is a perfect record. And I actually got to host. We did for the second Connecticut Comedy Festival. We were at the Beecher Theater, and we had a bunch of shows there. And one of them was the roast battle, and I got to host it. I got to judge it. It was me, Corin Fisher.
I think that's the same. The one at the Bijou is the one where I had Think Floyd on my podcast.
Oh, really?
There.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fucking great. And I miss Think. I haven't seen him in a while.
I haven't seen him in a while either.
Yeah.
Check out his episode of the show if you haven't really listened to my show yet.
I have not.
It's a good episode.
I used to try to listen to everything, and I'm like, I just can't anymore. It's overwhelming. But like, I'll cherry pick for sure. Yeah. So I got to judge the roast battle, and I was fucking funny, baby. I was like, oh, this is great. And I thought they would start using me as a judge at the New York Comedy Club roast battles. Maybe as a fill-in.
Yeah.
And hasn't happened.
Right.
But then COVID happened and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to do. Are you doing Last Comic Standing at Comics this year?
I don't think I gotta. I do. I think Ryan Roth has like a thing against me or something, like
Brow.
Because maybe it's because I say his name wrong.
Yeah, he doesn't like. It's like it's not soup. It's not soup. It's brow.
He's kind of like soup.
Someone's gonna send this to Ryan, so Matt has a reason why he doesn't get booked.
No, I mean I do the showcases there once a month. What do I need to? What do I need to fucking like?
I find that, and I've humbled myself. I made it to the semifinals a bunch, and then one year I actually thought that I won it, and this is the worst when you're in a contest and you feel like you won it.
Yeah.
And then you don't win it.
You get the wrong the other names announced, and you're just
Well, the key to that, if you're that far into it, the key is don't watch the other comics sets. If there's 3 comics on the show and you're each doing 15 minutes, do your 15 and leave, because then at the end of it, even if you're wronged, which you get wrong sometimes, the judges have agendas, or they're looking for something else. You won't know that.
Yeah.
Like if you sit in the room and watch your other contestants, you're like, oh, I was better than them. That's gonna eat at you. But if you just leave.
I mean, there's reasons why I think you're better than me, and it has nothing to do with comedy. Because like I feel like every time I see you, you have like a beautiful woman on your arm. Like it's like you always seem to like have the most gorgeous woman with you.
Thank you.
And one time, I remember I was with this a year-long relationship. I was living with this woman, everything. I remember one time, she said to me, she was like, she goes like, none of like your comic friends are like attractive at all. she's like, comedians are like so gross, like blah 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 blah. And then she just like kept going on for a while. And she was just like quiet for a while. She's like, "Except Beecher, he's pretty handsome." And I was like, "Fucking Beecher."
Thank you. I need that because I was not for nothing. There's a truth. Tell me what you think about this. There is a truth to the idea that all comics have low self-esteem.
Yeah.
And that we're troubled people. And not everyone's as bad as everyone else. But like I grew up, I'm Hispanic and black, and I look Middle Eastern. I grew up in a white community, and I was made to feel like an outsider, different, and ugly at an early age. And like those are your formative years. And like I had like my mom's friends. Like my mom's friends, "Oh, you're so handsome with your curly hair," and they gave me all the compliments in the world. Mm-hmm. But nothing resonates like the rejection of a peer. I remember like this. I think Aaron Hyland. I'm all these fucking guys. You can sue me. Aaron Hyland, Lindsay. What the fuck is Lindsay's last name?
You're just like listening to girls that turned you down in high school.
Bitch.
I love it.
Lindsay? I can't remember her last name. She actually married a friend of ours. But it was like when you were in like third grade and you ask a girl to the dance. I remember I asked Aaron to go.
What dances are they having in the third grade?
Little maypole dance.
How do we do good dancing in the
maypole? It was like you have to
middle school were the first dances.
No, this is like I remember it was third grade. I asked.
What kind of sick school did you go to that they're making?
McLaughlin, something like that. McLaughlin, something like that. Anyway, so I asked Aaron. Aaron was like the first girl that I really like had a crush on.
Okay.
And she fucking was like, I don't know, but that was a no. And then she ended up going with John Dunn. I remember very specifically all that. Yeah. It's like the social dynamics of your childhood are kind of like, for some people, are like profound. And I was like, I was so heartbroken. I was like, then I got assigned to like somebody else. And like, I feel bad. Whoever that is, if you're listening, I feel bad that I don't remember you. But like, I got assigned to somebody, where you're like, they let us pair off. And then if you didn't have a partner, it was like, here are the winners and here are the fucking losers. And we'll pair the losers with the other losers.
Wow.
We couldn't figure it out ourselves. Who did I fucking dance with? Actually, it was nice, whoever it was. I think she had a sweaty hand. I just remember there was one girl, I won't say her name.
She was nervous because she liked you.
Maybe. There was a few girls who were attracted to me as kids, younger. We like each other. But it's always like, you have the ones that you like the most, and that's what you kind of shoot for. And then anything else, you're like, oh, you're like my fifth choice. You're so cute, but it's not that. Yeah. It's not easy being a fucking elementary school kid in Trumbull, Connecticut.
It's funny you mentioned like that age. I feel like in like the second grade they had us do like this fucking like line dancing like fucking
the maypole. That's what we had.
Number I don't know. Is this like? And I remember like there was like a point where the teacher was like saying to like the group of kids. There was a mentally challenged girl in class, and she was late to class for whatever reason. So she basically like put it out there. She's like.
You've been saying like a lot. This is
because it's
a like heavy story. You went from not saying like a lot.
I actually never
bounced off like 20 likes.
This is a story that like I do not feel comfortable telling. Actually,
all right.
With you, I'll tell this story.
Okay.
There was the mentally challenged girl Maria in class. The teacher. Now I'm so self-conscious of saying like.
I thought you were going to Maria Retardova. That's her name. Real name. That's just her name.
She had Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And the teacher goes, I'm putting it out there to the class like, this girl, I know no one really wants to dance with her.
Yeah.
So if somebody will just volunteer
yeah.
to dance with her, and the class is dead silent.
You've probably never been that quiet.
And I was like, because I'm a nice guy. I'm like,
did you really?
I'll dance with her.
Sweetheart. Matt Heath, you fucking sweetheart.
And I danced with a girl with Down syndrome.
You fingered that girl.
You know something though?
Baby.
I had no idea whatever happened to that girl though,
Yeah.
because I remember her from elementary school. I never saw her throughout high school. Anything that story you told about dancing at that age triggered that memory for me.
Yeah,
because I haven't thought about that in years.
You're a nice person, dude. Most people would do. I used to be. Man, my mom would be very proud of me. I've gone out of my way to do nice things, and I've learned. Don't just do do the most self-interested thing you can do.
Right?
Appear to be good, but like I've gone out of my way to help people, to befriend people who are like on the outskirts, and like
now you're saying like
no, yeah. No, I just thought of this horrible story. I lived in Vermont for a little bit, and there was a fucking kid that came in, and he was this big fat kid. He looked like a fucking idiot. He was kind of dumb and slow. And like I remember, kids were teasing him.
I feel like you still have like emotional baggage.
This is really horrible. So he's getting teased, and I used to work at Old Navy,
right?
And I had these pair of pants. And the way this is a little side story, but the way that Old Navy at that time discounted
cargo pants.
They weren't cargo; they were carpenter pants.
Okay.
The way they discounted their clothing was just based on time. So. If something was old, the older it was, the cheaper it got in price, and they kept just cutting.
Is that why it's the Old Navy?
Yeah, maybe. But so I was working there, and someone had taken a pair of pants and jammed them in back of this display, and I was cleaning, and I found them, and they had been there for like 4 years. So I'm like, I take them out, like these. Wow, like it was really jammed in a really odd place that like no.
Somebody crapped the pants.
No, they were brand new pants.
Let
me try these on, and just the flies would give it away. The flies
now that would be a story.
Yeah. So
4 years.
I pulled these pants out, and they were $1.90 for a pair of pants. But they were a size 38 waist, and I was like, I used to be like kind of like a raver skateboarder kid, you know. So I was like, I'm buying these. So I got, under $2. And I got these pants, whatever. So I'm up in Vermont. This big fat kid comes, people are teasing him, and I was trying to defend him. I was like, you know what? His ass crack is hanging out. He's got this muffin top. He looks horrible.
Yeah.
So I tried to befriend him, and I give him these pants because I'm like, this is what Jesus would do. He's a good person. So I give him these pants. They fit, and he's all happy, and he's getting nice to me. He's warming up to me. And then he tells me that he raped a little girl.
What?
Yeah, and I'm just like,
yo, this story just took an insane left turn.
I was like, I should not have been nice to you. You're a fucking this fucking kid who's kind of slow himself.
And what age are you both at now?
I'm fucking. This was the backstory very quickly is there was a program called Job Corps, and it was basically a government program where
this still exists though. Right?
It does, and I could give you a whole backstory on this, but it was a government scheme / program. Where they would give, and it has a good theory, and the idea behind it. But anyway, they would give. Imagine someone's born, they have no parents, they have nothing. You would put them into this program. They would learn how to be a human being and get a job. That's basically the idea of the program. And in an advanced level, they were giving away free college. So they were doing. I was in Vermont, outside of Burlington. It was like University of Champlain College. And it was like a small college, but the credits transferred over to University of Vermont. So somebody had talked to my mom, and my mom was like, "Why don't you do this?" So I was like, "Yeah, all right, fine. I don't care. I'm kind of working at Old Navy. Who gives a shit?"
Right.
So I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I moved up there and to work to be there, and then I would like get free college, and the whole thing went awry. But ultimately, I was basically in a minimum security prison with juvenile delinquents from all over the country.
Really?
Yeah. And like I went to like a private high school. Like I was well-educated, good schools growing up. And so literally, I was like one of the smartest people there, and all the other smart people there, we all like gravitated. My friend Zach, who I'm still friends with, Valerie.
Okay.
Like we were all like.
So you were trying to reach out to like
I
other
was just
people
trying
that,
to be nice, like
that was in this program.
so you could get kicked out of this.
But
program.
what age? How old were you specifically?
This was I was 19 or 20.
19, and
19,
the other kids about 19, 20 too.
No, this ranged from like 15 and up.
Okay.
So these are like some young kids.
Yeah.
It's almost.
But the fat kid, how old was he?
17, 16, 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So he was a younger kid. But
Yeah.
like he was in this program because judges would assign people to it as like.
No, so this is why he was in the program.
Right.
Fuck.
Yeah. So you could get eliminated from the program, and it's like a step under jail. Like
Okay.
at low end. Like for high end, in theory, it's like, oh, like, you know, let's say you were you were like an orphan and you wanted to go to college. Like you just joined this program, it's a government program, so it's free. They would pay you, you could get like jobs there. They would do training, and then once you get out, you can do they taught welding, they taught carpentry, they taught executive like typing and all this different stuff.
Right.
And so there's a scheme behind it that I won't go into, but they basically I was there just over I think 6 months, and I fucking ended up I was smoking a lot of cigarettes at the time, and I got bronchitis, and it turned into pneumonia, and I got really.
But I can imagine why you'd be chain smoking cigarettes because it's like, dude, you're just hanging out with juvenile delinquents. It's like you're fucking like you're like one of the kids in the fucking Outsiders.
It was fucking crazy,
yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that this is probably the funniest thing that happened. You could get kicked out of the program, and so I forget what they call it. They had a name for it, but terminated. You get terminated from the program.
Right.
There was a bunch of ways to do it, but for some reason there was one kid, and I think they called him Stinky, and it just became this running joke.
All right.
Where whenever somebody...
Did he not shower? They just called him Stinky?
Yeah, that was like the thing. But the running joke was that whenever somebody was like, yo, man, fuck this, I'm going home. Because, like, you're up in Vermont. Yeah. And you're being brought back to Bridgeport. You're being brought back to fucking Detroit, Chicago. Yeah. You're going to be sent home to your fucking wherever you came from. So I'd be like, yo, fuck this, I'm going home. They would just find this one kid and just punch him in the face. And that, because if you had any violence, one hit, and you get sent home. Yeah. And like that would be the thing. Like, yo, fuck this, I'm going home. And this kid just became a target for anyone who wanted to go home. They would just punch him in the face. And like, he did nothing wrong.
Not the fat kid. That's different.
Stinky. They beat the shit out of him. Why did they beat that fat kid for raping the little kid, the little girl?
They beat the shit out of him?
Yeah. He was wearing my pants that I gave him. It was horrible.
Yo, this is wild.
Yeah.
Like, dude, working at Old Navy must have been a nice break from being.
No, it was before. It was great. It was before. Yeah. I loved Old Navy because I was there seasonally. I got hired as the greeter, which is really dope because. So I didn't do cashier. I literally.
Like, hello, welcome to Old Navy. We have pants. We have dockers.
That's exactly. I stood in the doorway and got to do stand up. I'd improvise with people like, "Hey, how you doing? You got a great looking family. Well, come in here, get some slacks, get some khakis." That's all I did for two seasons. So it was like the holiday seasons. Yeah. So 2 years apart. It was fun. Yeah. We used to do overnights. I was trying to hook up with a few girls there. We used to do overnights where it's like, all right, well, we have a manager and we're gonna stay overnight and restock the shelves and do all that stuff. I'm like,
it's funny. I feel like this your story. I don't see the connection here. Like I told the story on something nice I did for somebody that like.
Well, the nice thing to bring it back. I gave this kid a pair of pants.
But it was a rapist, so
I gave a rapist.
So like
I gave a rapist a pair of pants. And then he shit those pants. Boom! He shit them, baby. Because they beat the shit out of him.
Those pants were ruined.
Those $2 pants.
Anyways, I guess we're kind of winding down here. Is there any like shows you want to promote? Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to throw out?
I want to promote this podcast. Let's if you're listening to this, tell your friends.
Listen to more episodes.
Yeah, listen to the other ones. No, you don't have to listen to just this one. No, I'm doing more stuff for the Fairfield Comedy Club. If you're in Connecticut, go to fairfieldcomedyclub.com. We have a lot of great upcoming shows. I think we got Paul Verzi coming up, and we got... we just announced Robert Kelly and Giannis Pappas, which is going to be pretty big. And I'm in New York, so if you're fucking booking, fucking book me, baby.
You know,
same thing. We're bookmakers.
I feel like I don't know. It's weird because we're both like a couple of the original Connecticut guys.
It's so funny. I was trying to think about the demographic. Who would listen to this? Like who?
I just started.
You have like your listenership is like it's low. It's fine.
No, it's like on the low end of the spectrum, it'll be like 20 people listen, but like there's episodes that like 100, 200 people listen.
But imagine someone listening to this right now.
So somebody might listen.
Somebody might listen. You hear that?
So
I love you.
I don't see the reason why you wouldn't listen. It's fucking me talking to you, baby.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a fucking good episode.
I know it is, but that's what
this is gold we're weaving here, man.
It's about getting fucking eyeballs and ears onto your. There's so much content.
No, and I have a feeling my show is gonna age like wine. Too.
Yeah.
You know,
get some good guests on, people that want to hear. Well, I mean, this is going to be, like, if I ever do anything of note, this is where they're like, well, he said...
but he did give a pair of pants to a rapist.
He said retard earlier in the podcast. What was the girl's name?
What did you say her name was? Maria Retardova?
Retardova. That's what... Because I knew a Maria Retardova.
Bought her a pair of pants.
Yep, and then I fingered her at the dance.
Oh my god. Anyways, thank you so much for being on the show. I do just wish it's funny that it's like we're a couple of the original Connecticut guys, but it took me being in a New York apartment to have you on the podcast.
It's like there's so many people who love reconnecting. That's the one thing about comics. We're very social. Most of us are very social. And like, I love recapping and like seeing people. Like, there's literally, it's not even, I like you as a person.
Yeah.
But even if I didn't like you, it's just seeing a face you haven't seen in a while that you go, oh, holy shit. Look at how much has happened.
Yeah.
You know? Even if I'm trying to think of somebody I didn't like at Joker's Wild. Who sucked at Joker's Wild? Fucking Ben Ortiz. Ben Ortiz is your only listener. You're the only dude right now, you fucking piece of shit.
No, he still does comedy. He still does comedy.
I like him in the abstract sense that you would like a homeless person that raped a child and you gave pants to. I don't
know if he raped anybody.
No. Actually, he said one of the funniest things where he was talking about being homeless because he was like living on the streets for a while. But he's like, yeah, the porta potties. That's where we fuck.
Oh my god.
And so now whenever I see a porta potty, I always think of like Ben Ortiz fucking
in a porta potty.
In a porta potty. But anyway, so even if I saw Ben, I would put a smile on my face because like, why wouldn't it? Like, holy shit. Actually, I don't want to see him, but. That would be great. I'd still smile.
Oh my! It's funny. It's like how small the Connecticut scene is, and how many people don't like each other.
I like to be above that fray because I'm I haven't had to deal with that in so long. I mean, now I'm knee deep in fucking New York comedy club cliques and scenes and like little back and forth and drama. It's actually now I'm at the point where if I don't hear the drama, I get upset because I'm like, oh, there was drama and nobody told me. I'm not even on the scene. Like there's so many clicks. I do a good job of flying under the radar or above it. I don't know which is better.
Well, that's good, man. And I'm glad you're doing well. You're looking healthy. I don't even know what to say. Thank you for being on the show, brother.
Thank you, Matt.